Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you like a tutorial video how I make my tracks and my NASCAR stop motion tests and my series Tales of Radiator Springs. So really a lot of people, whenever they make tracks, they mostly use plywood. I mostly use cardboard because it's cheap. I mostly find moving boxes at Walmart and they're really cheap too, around like a dollar. So the size I get is a 22 X18 X18, and that's really where I'm making like the half miles or like Talladega, like Kansas, Chicagoland, and all that stuff. Really, when I'm making like short tracks like Martinsville, Richmond, Bristol, I find like a smaller one, a much smaller one, so that way I don't have like a lot of space on it. If I'm using the 22 X18 X18. So of course, you guys know I already made some other tracks. Like for example, I made Martinsville last month. Well, I really made it on Memorial's Day this year. And of course, I made Darlington. And thank you guys for watching the 2003 finish, which was a really good one. And of course, Rockingham Speedway, which has been one of my favorite tracks that NASCAR used to race on. And Nashville, so for the tracks, I usually just have one on one side and one on the other side. And of course, I will be making Texas Motor Speedway, since I live in Texas. Okay, so whenever I make my tracks, I usually go onto Google Maps and find like a aerial coverage version of them. Where I need to find out like where I need to put the grass, the racing surface, and all. Now, if you're making like a fictional track, like if you remember Tallahassee Motor Speedway from season 6 of my series, how I really just drew it like a half mile, you know. Or if you're making like a classic track, like for example, like if you're making the classic version of Phoenix where they had like the grass and a dog leg, you have to pretty much find a lot of satellite images because that one is just so tricky. And when I was working on that back in spring break, I had to adjust the dogleg so many times. And I mean that one's kind of a tricky one to make, mostly with the dogleg. So whenever I'm creating my tracks, I usually use like weathering strip tape for like this, like the walls and stuff, so that way I can label where I need to, put like the grass, pit road, and you can also find the weathering strip tapes at home improvement stores like Lowe's, Home Depot, and Menards. Even though we don't have a Menards here because I live in Texas and there's no Menards here. So I usually just get mine from Lowe's because Jimmy Johnson's sponsorship is my favorite driver. So I usually make my turns or most of my tracks 4 wide, but if you want to do 5 wide, like for example, I think Pocono may do that, and of course Auto Club Speedway, then you can go right ahead. So, whenever I'm painting, I mostly do the grass first, and then I do like the racing surface second. Okay, so whenever you're done painting your track, you of course need to wait for it to dry completely before you add like the decals and the lanes and all that stuff. So, the things I use for like the lanes and the apron, I actually get like these paint markers from Walmart. It's really cheap, you know. You can probably find them at like Office Depot or Staples if they have them. I'm sure they do, because they're office stores. So I usually get these from Walmart all the time, and I use them for like the lanes and the apron, and I print out the decals. Like I print out the start finish line, the NASCAR Cup Series logo, and NASCAR and NBC SM logo. Most of the times I draw my start finish line, but if you want to print it out, you can go right ahead. So whenever I'm doing the groove, I usually just use like a black pencil and just shade in the area, and then I use like like a little tissue paper and just wet it a little bit, and then I just use my hand to blend it and make it look really realistic. I do it on pit road too, and sometimes I will usually use like a black Sharpie marker to make like the tire marks and like when they're exiting pit road and stuff. And yeah, that's how I make my tracks. If this worked out for you, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button so that you don't miss an upload. So I hope this worked out for you. This is how I make my tracks. It's not really the best. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's worth it. It's how to make yours look kind of realistic. And when you finish your track, it's ready for a race. Anyways, hope this works out. This is Tavarius Baldwin signing out. Peace out.